Welcome in, everybody, to this presentation of the PRA Stock Series here on the PRA Network. Tonight, we kick off Season 1 of the Stock Series, the official Season 1, with last season being our Season 0 test run. Joining me in the booth tonight, let's start with that. Speaking of that Season 0 Sportsman Series championship, we have the champion in the booth tonight, reigning from last season, Rum Runner.
Thank you for having me, AD.
You've got your screen in the background. Let's see, there we go. Getting audio bugs sorted out early so we can have a great stream here tonight. Starting off here at Daytona, practicing in one of the heat lobbies. Tonight, our qualifying will be based off of 15-minute heat races. Currently in the lobby here, as we have donuts going about as we're about to kick off the heat. Rum, coming in from last season as the champion of this series. It's a bit different considering now these sportsman guys are getting their hands on the Silvias instead of the Miatas.
Yeah, it should make for a little bit different racing. Cars are a little bit quicker, handle a little bit different. I still think some of the same drivers that were up front last year still be up front.
Is there anyone particular you have your eyes on going into this race?
Running with them last year, definitely Phil. I think Phil finished second in the standings last year, and I look for him to have a great year this year in this car.
Yeah, we're going to start this pace lap on board with Phil in the appropriately sponsored number 6 Viagra car, starting third in this heat. The heat's being decided pretty much by random order for week 1. The heats in qualifying sessions in the future will be somewhat determined based off of points, at least for the heats. The qualifying orders will be based off of points. But clean slate this season, no points on the board for anyone yet, so everyone has to come in and make a statement, have their chance to come out hitting strong.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing what the sportsman people, guys and girls, do in this race here. Different car, different year. See who can take a stand and stay up front this race.
Indeed, as we have Shaggy and John on the front row, followed by Phil and Racer Chick, Lysis, Biaku, Fiend for Speed, Yurt, and D-West rounding out the back of this heat race. 9 drivers in this heat. Split into 2 heats, that means we have around 18 drivers tonight, if it's split evenly. Trying to qualify into 14 spots, so speaking of that said qualifying system, things have been changing for the Stock Series. Last season was pretty much a test run to test everything out and see what rules could be improved on, what new things could be added, and what worked just fine. So coming into Season 1, a lot of different things have changed, including qualifying procedures, including free agents having to go through the last chance qualifier. Also, the last chance qualifier being a thing this season for any lobby over 18 people trying to qualify. We will have a last chance qualifier, basically a B main to get into the A main type of situation, though everyone involved will still get points towards the season.
It looks like we're about getting ready to go green here.
As we are. We have Phil getting a good jump off the start, giving John the old push, the bottom line train of Slipstream here at Daytona, under the Florida Palms. We have Lysis and Fiend getting past Shaggy as well. Shaggy just having a poor start, can't get down to the bottom line, is going to have to shuffle to the back. Tries to force his way in behind Racer Chicken, actually does find his spot in the line.
That was a bold move early in the race.
Definitely a bold move. Not even the race, the heat race, which in this I believe as well we will not have any cautions. So it's pretty much every man fights for themselves here, and any fighting has to be taken up with some people later. But as we have D West pushed out wide, tries to find his way back to the line and does. Yurt and the Jimmy Johnson inspired 48 makes his way around Byaku, making his way up the order.
Looks like they're all kind of getting single file down to the bottom. Might be content to just make some laps here and try to get to the end.
Yeah, for sure. So, in this qualifier, the top finishers will make it into the next, into the main event. I am going to double check and see exactly what that number will be. I would imagine it is the top. I actually should have checked this before, since a lot of things have changed.
Yeah, I believe it was the top 5.
That does sound right. Let's... So, indeed, a lot of progress here in the league already. Speaking of progress, off track and on track is we're getting the massive bump. Phil from pretty much the whole train behind, they're really trying to get some speed, as we will now check said speed. These guys running at speeds of around 170 around the turn 4 banking. Onto the front straight of the tri-oval here on lap 4 with about 10 minutes to go, 5 minutes into this 15-minute session. Lysis gets bumped under the yellow line, but works his way back in. Fiend gets bumped out of the draft. Shaggy's going to take advantage. Racer Chick is going to take advantage, and he's going to shut the door on Byaku to get back up into the top spot. Oh, as we have contact! Major contact! D-West, Shaggy, a lot of people getting involved in turns 2 and 3. It is D-West, unfortunately for him, getting the worst of it, losing control of the car in turn 2 and into the infield, as that's just very unfortunate contact you don't want to see, as now that also causes Byaku, Shaggy, Yurt, and Racer Chick, as well as D-West, to lose this pack of top 4, being John, Phil, Lysis, and Fiend. These 4 now might be thinking, they're pretty much home free, so there's really no need to fight each other as long as you make it into the race.
Yeah, I think I would stay in line and just get to that final. Interesting to see if that second pack, if they get formed up and run down the first to try to make a race out of it.
Now, I will mention, I'm pretty sure there are bonus points for pole or heat win in this case, so these guys might fight over those bonus points. At the end of the day, every point matters here. Even if we are early on in the season, it's going to make a difference going into the later stage of the season, into the playoffs. Might be make or break for even if you make the playoffs.
Big Phil's just going to ride and he's going to make him move out. If I say that, and there he pulls out right now.
Yeah, as soon as you're about to say they're going to ride, they go too wide. And it looks like the outside line might have the jump here, though the inside line does seem to be dominant if you have the train of cars to do it. John and Lysis does have that positioning, and Lysis will get past Phil for second place.
It's like the second group might have the draft and
Oh, Lysis is loose, and that causes Phil to get knocked out of the line, but thankfully here, if he doesn't fall too far back, he's able to stick into the back of this train of 4. As we do check on this pack behind is Biaku, Shaggy, and Yurt, trying to catch the top 4, trying to fight over positions. I believe you are right, it will be the top 5 in this heat.
They're gonna run them down by the time they get to the start-finish line.
Biaku does have this run here. Huge pushes from Shaggy and Yurt, and honestly the top 4 jostling for position and bumping into each other. That might be hurting to slow them down. As you are right, Biaku is a cruise missile right now. Let's see if he adds the momentum. They're going to try to go around the outside, but Shaggy doesn't join them. Shaggy does take 0.5 penalty for running under the yellow lines. But
going to drop him out of that pack.
Yeah, but Biaku's kind of left to dry on the outside. Now Shaggy's trying to make work as much as he can. Since the further he gets up the pack, the best chance he might have to stick with them at the end of this. But let's see how this goes for Shaggy. He gets a bump from Yurt up into 4th. He's going to slide out. Let's see if he can slide into the back of his pack here. I don't know. These guys have got the speed, that's for sure. And Shaggy, I believe, has fallen out of that group. So Shaggy is now out of contention. It's Biaku, Yurt, Fiend, and Phil jostling for position for that podium spot and just life in general into the main event.
Right now, John's been out front the whole race. Nobody's been really able to make a move on him.
There's Yurt looking for a potential move on Fiend. Not going to happen without any help behind. Going to have to fall back in line there for now. So Yurt is sitting comfortably in 5th, so well, I wouldn't say that's too comfortable, but top 5 will get you in. He does go wide, trying to look for a move on Fiend, put Fiend in the hot seat. Tell you what, that move almost worked. But now Yurt's kind of left out to dry. Biaku's going to look for the inside line. It's not going to get it. He's going to tail in behind Yurt. Gets more speed to fight this top pack. Biaku having to make this overtake on Yurt to make it into the main event, or at least guarantee a spot in the main event. As we do see D-West and Race Chick working together towards the back. Nothing really much those two can do as their night seems to be over. Well, they do have a chance in the last chance qualifier, I'm going to assume, but
yeah,
we will see.
I think they take 4 out of the last chance qualifier in the top 4.
That is right. So out of this heat and the other heat, there is a second heat going on at the moment. Everyone who doesn't make it into the main event will get a second chance to qualify into the last 4 spots to take up the 14-car grid for tonight's race. As Biaku is looking for some room behind Fiend and Phil, these guys still getting as antsy as ever. Just dancing around, giving everyone a little love tap on the back. Biaku and Yurt now included. Biaku is still in the hot seat, sitting right there trying to hold off Yurt from punching his guaranteed ticket to the main event, as we are around for a 13th lap with 3 minutes to go in this qualifying heat.
They're going to make a move. They're going to need to start thinking about it now. Especially Yurt trying to get in the top 5 to guarantee him a spot into the main event.
Coming around turn 4. These guys still bumper to bumper. Not really wanting to make a move yet, though to be fair, the guys who have tried the outside move, it hasn't worked for them so far. Case in point, Yurt, as he's fallen back to 6th, trying to fight Byaku and even make his way out further. Shaggy as well tried to make it around the outside earlier, and he got kicked completely out of the line. But Yurt's still sizing up this pack, just waiting for his moment as things do get a little bit antsy up ahead.
One wrong move up front could drop him out of that top 5. I like the position John's in, though. Stay on the bottom, make him go around you on the outside.
John is in the driver's seat here, literally and figuratively, as we make our way around, probably for 2 or 3 more times. Yurt's not going to have much time left to make this move on Byaku. We're going to see if he can get it done here on the number 2 Google Ford of Byaku, with Fiend in front, Phil, Lysis, and John. Possibly another one slips up, but we will see. Yurt does look for the move. Still not going to get it.
No help. He's going to, best chance he's got is to maybe push back, move by him, and gain a spot underneath somebody.
That is an idea. Or he could just get the massive run of the century. He might be trying to size up a last-second run to the line, as we're going to have one to go. This is going to be white flags here for this heat race, as Yurt might have lost the toe there, actually.
He might be in a good position, though, if he's just outside of him, get a full run down the back straightaway.
I think he might still barely have the toe. These guys are struggling up here. Yeah, Yurt's got some speed. 175 around turns 2 and 3, or 1 and 2. Onto the long back stretch here at Daytona. He's going to have a shot at this. As we take a look ahead, all these guys are still holding steady, but we're going to hop on board with Yurt. Absolute cruise missile of a Chevy. Coming around at turn 4. He's going to make a run to the line. They make the runaway count. Everyone's going side by side now.
Everywhere. Oh, what a move.
Yurt's going to make his way in here. Oh, he's not going to get it. Oh, he is. Let's see. Run to the line.
What a finish.
Oh, Yurt couldn't get past Phil. Phil almost falls out of the top 5 at the last second.
Good run by John. I think he led flag to flag on that one.
I think he did as well. What a job by John to stay in front. Yurt almost making that move into the top 5. Phil almost getting shuffled out. I think it was that last second move by Byaku that really caused the chain of events there.
Yeah, it looked like Yurt got into the outside wall just a little bit. That might have knocked a little bit of speed off of him too.
Definitely possible. As we kick off, this isn't even the main race. This is the heat race. We're kicking off the heat race with this kind of action.
Yeah, it's going to be a great season starting off like this.
Great season and a great race up ahead as we head out of the qualifier for Heat 1. Let's see. Here are your race results yet again for the first heat. John with the win, leading from checkered to checkered, or green to checkered. Byaku in second, Lysis in third, Fiend in fourth, and Phil running up the top 5 for the inaugural Season 1 heat race at Daytona, as we now move on to the main event, or possibly it would be the last chance qualifier next, I believe.
Yes. Have they wrapped up Heat 2 yet?
Let's take a look at Heat 2. Yes, Heat 2 has concluded, so we will wait for the next heat to come up. So, everyone please wait patiently as we take a short intermission here as we wait for the last chance dash to go live. Alrighty, everyone, welcome back. I am back. Rum Runner is back, and we are back here to present the main event here on the PRA network of Week 1 of the Sportsman division here in the new Season 1 of the Stock Series. As we are going straight into the main event, as I was corrected about the Last Chance Dash. Still new procedures in play, so that is on me for getting that mistaken. I believe it was the top 7 from each lobby, so we did have John make it through, and I believe Shaggy would have made it through as well from our lobby. As now in the main event, we can see everyone who is going to officially be racing tonight and give a proper introduction to everyone in the race tonight.
Hey, why it'll be interesting to see who can get to that bottom lane first and really take control of this main event and set the pace. 25 laps, fuel might come into play. It's right on the edge of a fuel run for these cars.
I do agree indeed. It is going to be fascinating to see how strategy plays out, if it has to play out at all. It may just come down to pure skill on the track, though if cautions do come to play, then we may have a different story on our hands. Let's see if we can get ourselves back in. I believe we had a server error. Give us one moment to get this one situated.
Nothing like a few little bugs in the first broadcast of the season. We'll get worked through them here soon.
Indeed is welcoming. We have now 19 people in the stream. That's a solid start for the new season. We are waiting in intermission to get the lobby back set up. As there we go. New lobby up, new lobby to be able to join. Thanks to our league owner and official for tonight, B-Dog. Seems to have mistaken me as Oscar's fourth, but in this case, we are fine. We do not need to vote kick AY. We did have it clarified that no, that wasn't a technical error. But we are good to go now as we are getting everyone into the main event lobby. As we are seeing some familiar names in this race tonight. We got Slick, we've got Lysis, Phil, Wired, Outlaw, John, Biaku, Yurt, and a few others. Black Sierra, Snowstorm, Shaggy, as well as a few newcomers as well to the PRA Stock Series.
Getting the rest of the lobby filled out.
Indeed, and as for everyone just joining in, we are here for the Sportsman Division first race of the Season 1 of the PRA Stock Series. Can't even say inaugural season anymore since we did have our Season 0. That was more of a test run to work out all of the rules and get everything in place to make the best racing environment we possibly can. Speaking of Season 0, if you were not aware already, my broadcast partner tonight is the prior Sportsman Division champion Rum Runner, now making his way up into... You're in Challenger now.
No, sir. Straight up to Elite.
Oh, really? I thought you were I thought you were in Challenger. That's on me. Congrats to you to making up to the Elite pretty much right off the bat.
See what that holds in store for me. I really enjoyed the Sportsman Series last year. Such great competition. Speaking of competition from last year, if I'm not mistaken, I believe Phil took the first race at Daytona last year.
I believe that is right, yeah. So Phil could definitely be a guy to keep our eyes on again. As we discussed before the heat race, Phil is definitely a favorite to win this race. Maybe not favorite number one, but a lot of guys here are going to be vouching for that top spot here to kick off the season.
I agree. You had John in that heat race, and he led the whole thing. And then you got some of your free agents. Seemed like they made the final here. I think Slick's a free agent. Fiend for Speed. Black Sierra, and Hollywood.
Always a shout to see what the free agents can do. Rum Runner himself was a free agent last season. Came out to show why you gotta pay attention to all these guys, though. Not just the people you know, but maybe the people you don't know are gonna show up and make you look stupid for not picking them up sooner.
fell to a good team in the free agent draft at the end of the year. I'm happy where I'm at with Wolfpack Racing, and looking forward to a full season with them to see what we can do as a new team.
That's right, as the full season ahead is going to be very exciting for everyone involved. All of our franchise owners, all of our drivers, officials, and myself and other commentary partners for the season. It's going to be a great show. A lot longer of a schedule. We got a full schedule this time instead of just a short, temporary, and intermediate schedule to kind of kick things off, get everyone into the feel of what the PRA Stock Series is going to be, as was the purpose of Season 0. Now here in Season 1, starting off our time at Daytona, 25 laps here for the Sportsman Series, our third division in PRA, with the Challenger Series going to be live tomorrow night, and the Elite Series going live Thursday night. All three races are at the same time every day, each week. We will be back next week at the same times and going forward into mid-December when our playoffs are going to conclude.
And new to this year too, we're going to have the, I believe it's the Oval Challenge for all series.
That is right. We do have a few different things coming up this season. Few different events to keep the season fresh and interesting for everyone. Not just the main points championship at stake, but you have the Oval Challenge. Every oval on the schedule will have its own separate point standings. They're not really the ones that matter, but they mean something to some people for sure. Definitely a fun thing to keep track of. As well as later in the season, after our first main break, we will come back in October with the Bracket Challenge. More explanation about that will come as we get closer to October. As mentioned already, this race tonight will be 25 laps with these cars running a little under a minute a lap. So that will put this total race at maybe around 30 minutes if you include potential cautions. We did see a collision in our first heat race involving D. Westberg. Unfortunately for him, he was not able to recover from that and did not make the final. Hopefully get to see more D. West in the future, though. A great guy in the league, of course.
Yeah, that was definitely a tough break for him on that. Got caught up in something, and just once you get behind, unless you get a caution, which in the heat race, no cautions, yeah, he kind of left out to dry there.
As we're still waiting to get everything sorted out and the starting lineup put together. Rum, can we get a mic check real quick? If you don't mind, can you turn your mic up at all? There we go. Let's see.
Yeah, I'm checking.
I can hear you. That's better. At least to me, it sounds better. Y'all let me know on the stream if that does sound better to you as well.
I just asked X-Zone to see if he could hear me better.
Yep.
Looks like we're getting ready to start here.
Here we go. 0 seconds to the finals. Everyone's going to be on the track. We're going to take our pace lap around. Leading the way is Nitro and John inside and outside lines. As we can go through the starting order now. If I get our display together, we'll have the full display on tonight. We have Nitro in 1, John second, Byaku third. We have Outlaw in 4th, Lysis in 5th. And we're going to see a better idea of this full starting order. Actually, what am I doing? I have to start my own starting order. Let's take a look at this. So as I said, Nitro first, John is in 2nd, Byaku in 3rd, Outlaw in 4th, Lysis behind Byaku in 5th, Hollywood in 6th, Fiend for Speed in 7th, Slick in 8th, Phil in 9th, Wired in 10th, Yurt in 11th, That Black Sierra in 12th, Shaggy in 13th, and Snowstorm rounding out the pack in 14th. These two guys towards the back, though, may definitely have a great run at this race, considering the momentum they're going to have from the very back. As we take a look at these guys, we have Shaggy back here, free agent. We have Snowstorm beside him, and That Black Sierra, Yurt for his own team. We have Wired, as we now have, for most liveries, the updated team logos for each team on the back left corner panel. We have Slick, reminded the green stripes indicate free agents. Those are guys to definitely watch out for, to see if they make a run to impress, to get themselves onto a team, as being on a team is way more important this season, considering all the benefits that come with it, considering free agents can have a lot tougher time making races now, as the demand is high to make it into the stock series.
Formed up 2x2, Nitro leading them down. Ready to get season 1 of the PRA stock series, Sportsman series underway.
As we make our way into the tri-oval of Daytona, here at beautiful Daytona Beach, Florida. Nitro leading the way from John as they take the green flag here. 25 laps of racing. Nitro gets to start. John, a little bit of a run on the outside. Let's see how everyone manages. The outside line actually getting a pretty good jump. Beating and banging, as you'll see always, from the inside of Biaku's car. Outlaw takes that spot into 3rd. John still kind of stuck on the outside a little bit. He's going to fall back into 3rd himself.
John makes it
a little
down.
sketchy here as we have Beaten and Banging License somehow keeps that car straight forward and not around in the barrier. As we have everyone kind of getting situated now. Still a little bit of Beaten and Banging, everyone trying to find their way into the line. But here comes the train, folks. 2-2-2 through 25 laps. Probably single file for most of it, unless someone's daring enough to make the jump. So far, everyone's still in the slip, all the way back to 14th. Wired at the back now. Tell you what, the slip here is key. If you lose the slip, you have pretty much no chance unless a caution comes out, to be quite honest. Slick kind of keeping himself together here with bumping from behind. A couple guys take it to the outside, Yurt being one of them. Yurt having a good time with the outside walls here at Daytona. As we got a 3 wide up ahead. As Black Sierra getting pushed under the yellow line, he's got to fall back. Oh, and we have a drive around. He just license to Monica. Shaggy almost misses, or barely misses him, as that may be a caution, folks, as our caution caution system is based off tallies. Tally is pretty much just a wreck involving 2 or more drivers. As let's see if that will bring out the caution. I'm actually shocked it didn't, to be honest. But we move on.
Tough break for Lysos there, getting sideways up front.
Yeah, Lysis probably not happy right now, especially considering that didn't exactly seem to be on his own, but he may have a few words later on if he doesn't have a chance at this win later on, but I'm sure another collision will come out at some point that will bring out the yellow flag. But as of right now, we're smooth sailing, going into lap 5 of 25. Sparks flying from these cars, making around turn 1, and there's your wreck. It is John, unfortunately for him as well. Had an amazing qualifying session, but gets taken out in turns 1 and 2. not really anything intentional, just something you can't help here at Daytona with all the beating and banging. Eventually someone's going to go around as we make our way around turns 3 and 4. The race to the line is on for our first caution of the new season of the stock series here in the Sportsman division.
Big break for John and Lysos to be able to get caught back up.
Indeed, as we have the race to the line, Hollywood in 6th, as we have everyone pretty much side by side there as we now file into yellow flag pace speed. Fiend will be given 5th place. Hollywood goes to 6th. John.
Looks like Phil got around Nitro somewhere and coming to the caution.
Indeed, Phil made that run towards the end, getting himself up front for this next restart. I wouldn't say being up front is exactly where you want to be right now. Definitely towards the end of the race, but right now you've got a whole pretty much horde of bees behind you, buzzing their engines off, trying to get past you.
Takes one wrong move, one wrong bump draft, and catch somebody in the wrong corner. Turn them around like we saw John and Lysos. Seemed like single car incidents.
So we will take stock here for this restart. Phil, up front. For now, we're still single file. We'll probably have either a choose rule or something as we go around probably one more time.
I believe this year that we're able to make pit stops under yellow.
Ah, that is right, yeah. So we're going to see if anyone comes into the pits this time around. I don't think anyone will. Unless maybe you're towards the back, there's nothing really hurting you. But no one does make the jump for now, since, I mean, it's early on. No one really needs it.
Fuel's not going to be an issue with the caution now. That should put everybody within the window to make 25 laps.
So, indeed, as we make it around the pit lane, as we now double up our starting lineup for our first restart of the race after our first caution of the season. It is Phil in first, Nitro in second, Slick in third, Outlaw in fourth, Fiend for Speed in fifth, Hollywood in sixth, Snowstorm in seventh, Wired in eighth, Black Sierra in ninth, Yurt in 10th, Biaku in 11th, Shaggy in 12th, John in 13th, and rounding out the back of the pack is Lysis.
Oh, those PRA cars look great glistening in the sun on the backstretch at Daytona.
You're sure right they do as we make it around into turn 3 and 4. About to get our first restart of the season. Let's see how clean it goes. These Sportsman division drivers are going to be antsy, probably. All of these guys want to make an impact, hopefully make their move up into higher divisions or onto teams if they aren't on a team already, as is the case for Fiend here in the 66 Starburst car, so currently sitting in 5th, behind another free agent, Slick, in 3rd.
It's going to be real key to get a good push on this restart.
That's right, let's see if they do, as we are green, 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 yet again here at Daytona. The outside line getting a good push with Outlaw, Hollywood, and Wired really giving them...
push Nitro to the lead if he gets down.
It's close. These guys might have the momentum to do it. I don't know, that train is forming down at the bottom line. These guys are going to have to make it quick, or they're going to fall all the way to the back of the pack. As you now see the speed difference of the train on the inside versus the outside line. Now Nitro is going to try to slip into 5th behind Snowstorm. And all those other outside line guys are going to have to find their place as well. Everyone bumping around turns 3 and 4, as pretty much like I said, that outside line had no chance on their own. Fiend does get pushed out though, Outlaw's going to try to join him out there and give him some assistance. He does make the move around Shaggy. Shaggy gets a little bit of a tap as Byaku goes low. He's going to have to fall back to the back of the pack, getting under the yellow line. Nitro and Sierra getting at it. Fiend for speed. Outlaw trying to make the move in between, trying to slice through like a hot knife in butter.
Outlaw got back down as Sierra got left out to dry. Looks like he's going to make it back in.
Fiend looking for the way around, but Shaggy gives Sierra that extra push to keep his 6th spot. Snowstorm is the next one to get pushed out. This is pretty much a game of can you stay on the bottom line. Featuring Snowstorm this time. Now it is, I believe that is Shaggy. Gonna have to fall back to 12th. Hopefully getting a push from Yurt. Yurt tries to go around the outside as we see Byaku has lost the pack. So that is your first driver of the day losing the pack outside of the guys who wrecked earlier on. We now see Outlaw, next one pushed out, falls back to 6th. It's like the old squeeze play. You know, trying to stay in the pack, but if you get bumped from behind and squish in front, you get pushed out like Black Sierra did, and now it's Outlaw trying to keep the car around. He does somehow, as multiple cars...
Good car control for those guys there. That could have been bad.
Multiple guys already fall victim to that turn 3-4 squish. He keeps the car on all fours. As now it's Slick getting bumped to the bottom. He's giving Snowstorm the business as he's trying to keep that inside line, and he keeps it all right. Fiend for speed making a push for 3rd. John slips behind. Nitro in 5th, slots back. Got another car trying to look around the outside. There's huge collision.
Slick in the wall got turned. It looked like
huge collision in turn 2. That is Snowstorm falling back. Yurt got caught up with as well. The main car there was Slick, who got really turned around into the wall head first.
See if that brings out another caution and
I would suspect it does. That was definitely a brutal one for Snowstorm, Shaggy, and Yurt, as well as, of course, the 96 of Slick. As we are now under caution. Lap 12 of 25, made it around halfway through. The 2nd caution of the night.
Gonna be a lot of drivers not happy with others at the end of this one.
That's how it goes on your ovals, the drafting and everything. A whole different game to any other track or race in the season are the ovals. That's why the ovals will have their own little championship series, but definitely a different world for these guys who are more road course racers trying to survive on these ovals.
John's had a great recovery from that spin earlier. That caution helped him. He's made his way all the way back up to 2nd, and Lysos has made his way back to 4th after an early spin.
Yeah, the early spins, honestly, they don't make too much of a difference. It's the stuff at the end, when it really counts, is what matters. Of course, you don't want to wreck out at all, preferably, but if you're going to do it, get it out of the way early. So that way you can make your way towards the front at the end of the race.
See if anybody takes advantage of pits this go round.
We do have a few. It is the back 3 who make the jump in. Let's take a look at who that was. That is Yurt, Slick, and Byaku making the jump in. For them, they don't really have anything to lose.
Throw some new tires, leave the fuel out of it so the car is lighter, a little bit more speed.
Indeed. Fresher tires. Again, it doesn't make too much of a difference, but definitely does something for these guys. As Yurt is going to be the first one out of pit road, Byaku second to follow, and Slick did fuel up a bit. Just making sure he gets to the end, he could push all of the gas out. since I did notice, actually, that we're about halfway through and these tanks are about half gone, so we may see some guys struggle towards the end, especially if they are in fuel mode 1, pushing as hard as they can. It will definitely be close, so, I mean, it doesn't hurt to be more safe than sorry. It does put a little bit more weight in the car, but I'm sure what Slick is thinking is that he's going to stay in the slip anyway, save as much fuel as he can so he can push it all out towards the end and really show these guys what he can do. As we are now doubled up once again, second restart of the night after our second caution involving, it was mainly these guys in the back, Biaku, Yurt, Slick especially. As Phil is on the pole, John right beside him. Phil gets a really early jump. Don't know if that was intentional, but we are good to go now. The inside line gets jammed up a little bit behind Phil with his early jump, but it's not enough to keep Phil and Nitro back. John spots in the third. All these guys really learning their lesson, trying to slide into the bottom line as fast as you can.
They don't waste no time getting to the bottom if there's an opening.
Right. We saw a few times they tried to make the open line work, or outside line work, but they did not. As we do see, speaking of outside lines, John tried to make a move on Phil and Nitro, but it's not going to work for him, as Wired's now going to take advantage of that. Wired up at the top three. He does get a little push back from Outlaw, maybe give him a little bit extra help, but it's not really going to do enough. As he slots back into third, now Wired gets kicked out by John, trying to get his spot back, trying to tell Wired, hey, get out of here, this is my podium spot. Lysis in fourth, a real train outside on the lap 15 here. Outlaw and Sierra, it did not pay off for them, so they slipped back in the line. Lysis getting a little loose, as we have a few guys loose. Again, they somehow keep control of it, as Wired falls all the way back to 8th now, after he got kicked out of the line. He was up there in the top 3 for a second, but he couldn't really get it done, as now we're going to see what the guys behind can do. Black Sierra looking for a run on Outlaw with everyone up in front. Outlaw's going to look for that move on the outside. Hollywood, Oasis, John, and everyone else here. Outlaw's going to be left out to dry yet again, though. Snowstorm gets the push. Wired, and now Black Sierra. The accordion effect that this drafting has, of all the distance these guys can make, and all the speed they can build. As now you have Outlaw kicked out of line. Yurt makes his way into the top 10. Black Sierra is next out of the line. Shaggy's going to take advantage of Outlaw as well. He's going to slot in front of Biaku, and these guys are going to make their way, work together to keep up with the pack. Outlaw trying to make the outside move work again. Outlaw has really been trying to make the outside work, and he's had some success with it. Hollywood and Yurt left out to dry now. Yurt had a bit of a run, but Hollywood slowed him up.
A good move by Outlaw. He got 3 cars in corner coming to the trioval. Outlaw could be one to watch if he gets up in the top 3 with a couple laps to go. That outside move he's been making's really been working for him. One of the few that I've seen make it work.
Yeah, we're going to see if he can make it work towards the end, as we see Wired made his way back up to 5th now. Now Wired, I had to say something about Wired, huh? My teammate over at Captain Racing, one of the commentators cursed there. I'm so sorry, Wired. As he gets pushed out of 5th and squeezed out of the line back into 11th, though he does keep the toe. So he'll be able to advance in these guys. Biaku also lucking out there, catching Wired's toe. He was out to dry as we now have a 3-4 wide on the backstretch with Shaggy, Sierra, and another car pushed into the bottom line. That is Hollywood. Wired makes the move on Shaggy. Biaku makes the move as well. Now Wired and Black Sierra are going to work together with Outlaw to see if they can make a move up, possibly looking to the inside of the gear wrench car of Hollywood. Outlaw looking to the outside again, going to try to get a 2-for-1 special. Fiend's left out to dry, so Outlaw is going to get Fiend, but at what cost? As he makes the move on Fiend, but gets taken over by like 4 other cars. Falls back to 10th. Shaggy's still on the toe. It is Slick and Yurt who have fallen out of the toe. So, with 2 more laps until caution cut off, we're going to see if anything happens to get them back to the race.
We're coming to 5 to go this time.
Snowstorm getting ping-ponged a bit between Hollywood and Oasis, but still holding on to that 5th spot. Look at Outlaw, he's eyeing up the outside again. Fiend gets kicked out of line, he's going to fall back. Does slot in front of Outlaw to take ninth. These last 5 laps are going to be really hectic, as now this is when things matter. No more cautions are going to be at play. So every man for themselves here on this track, as we are now with 5 to go. No more cautions here. Hollywood and Snowstorm immediately getting chippy. Snowstorm gets pinched out. Really swerves down in front of Wired, but Wired holds on, and so does Snowstorm. Phil has been really commanding of this group the whole time. Fuel's still looking fine enough with Nitro actually on less fuel. The shunt from John, these 3 trying to make the run for the win here. Well, honestly, anyone in this top 12 is still in play for a win.
Interesting to see when Nitro tries to make a move and if John goes with him.
As Wired almost gets turned into the wall, Wired goes, but he did somehow hold on, but that probably is his night going to be done as long as if he doesn't keep with Sierra's slipstream. He might still have it. Looks like he just about does. So Wired is going to stay alive. The 11 car in 11. He's going to hope he could get his car up further in the order, though, as we're going to 3 to go now as these cars are glistening under the Florida sun. This is now the point of the race. You're going to see people trying to make moves going side by side. Taking gambles they wouldn't have otherwise do unless you are Outlaw.
I think Nitro and them, if they're smart, they wait to the last lap to make a move. Because if you get to the outside and nobody goes, you're going to be to the back in a hurry.
As an unfortunate break for Fiend for speed, getting contact with Outlaw. Sends him into the wall. And I believe that will be Fiend's night done, unfortunately, for the 66 car. He's had a great race so far, though, so that's an unfortunate break for him. As Rings of Saturn holding strong up front. Nitro and Phil, as Outlaw gets pushed towards the back again. But tell you what, if there's any guy in this order who would love to be at the back of the pack right now and get a run onto the last lap, it is Outlaw.
He might be a little far back, though, to make a move.
He's got the speed. 183 on the back straight, 184 coming up to the tail of the wire, and we're going to see everyone starting to shuffle out now. Sierra, short on fuel, should make it to the end, but just about. Now you're going to see cars shuffling for position, as now it's Byaku making the run around the outside. Gets the pass done on Snowstorm, but still nothing there just yet. As we have Phil taking the white flag here at Daytona. John gets shuffled back, squeezed between lights and Hollywood. He's going to find his way back down. Snowstorm's not going to let him there. Not enough room for him as John, at the very end, is going to fall towards the back of the pack. Huge run for Black Sierra, wired. Snowstorm's going to get shot to the outside. But that actually helps him, as now we have a 2 wide. And what do you know? What do you know? The outside line at the very end is going to work. Outlaw in this group as well. Phil still holding strong. We called at the beginning Phil might have a chance to win this, but the outside line going strong. Outlaw with the move down to the inside. Snowstorm takes the lead at the last second. Snowstorm gets the bump in front. Let's see if he can hold on. Can he cut it off?
The push. Get down.
He didn't cut off the push. Phil right here at the end. Snowstorm's gonna hold on. Phil holds second. Sierra in third. John makes his way all the way back up to fourth. Outlaw with the gutsy moves at the end in fifth, really out of fuel with Lysis in sixth, Hollywood in seventh, Wired in eighth, Byaku in ninth, Nitro, Fiend, Slick, Yurt, and Shaggy round out the back. So we do have a fight with Slick and Yurt. Yurt's going to take the position from Slick at the very end. Shaggy's there to take it as well, but can't get the move done. It's going to be Yurt, Slick, and Shaggy in that order.
What a race.
As we were talking about, the gas is going to be very close, and a lot of guys ran out of gas right there at the end.
I wonder if that's what happened to Nitro right there, or did he just get shuffled out?
I think so. I don't know. That was hectic. That was a very hectic end, as we thought it was going to come down to strategy at the end. There's a few guys. I'll say, it was Slick was the one that took extra fuel. It never really paid off for him because he got knocked to the back of the pack anyway. But that was probably the right move there. In hindsight, for some of those guys, probably should have took fuel.
Either that or dropped your fuel save a little bit for a few laps early in the race, or dropped it all the way to 6 or so under all those caution laps. They should have been able to make up that distance.
Seems like some guys might have done that and still not gotten away with it. That was an insane finish.
It was a great move by Snowstorm to get to that outside and get the push.
Great job by Phil to hold on all race. We did say he was going to be one to watch, but Snowstorm taking advantage at the very end. Honestly, getting a lucky push on the outside. He got an incredible boost from one of the drivers, and he just shot like a missile around the outside. And though he wasn't able to cut Phil off, he had enough of a gap to hold first to the end, as I'm sure Phil and the others were running out of fuel as well, so they didn't really have the fuel to challenge Snowstorm there.
Yeah, I believe he might have got a push from Outlaw at the end.
I know Outlaw was in that group. It was a group of 3 cars trying to make the outside move at the end, and all of them made it work at the last second. As we talk about, the inside line is king, but they made it work at the very end of the outside line.
So we had an outside move by Snowstorm getting pushed by Black Sierra and Outlaw. That was the winning move.
Indeed it was. As we're now going to wait and see if we get an interview with our race winner and our current Sportsman division leader, Snowstorm.
It'd be interesting to hear his thoughts on that last lap.
Talk about a race, that's for sure. There he is. Welcome in, Snow. How does it feel? Winning the first race of season 1 here for anyone, not just of the Sportsman division, but to kick off the season at the very end, taking advantage there. Yeah, we had a good view of that. The outside line all race was a place you were left out to die, but at the very end, you get the bump and make it work. That was an amazing race. Rom, do you have any thoughts?
I just like to know his thoughts coming into that last lap, position, and did he think the move was going to work? I believe Black Sierra and Outlaw were the two that got to you and gave you the boost there.
There's your shout out of the night to Black Sierra. I think I was going to shout out Sierra for his driving, but I think a lot of people had some good driving tonight. There was a bit of bumping as well, obviously. I mean, that's going to happen with Daytona, with the drafting that you have on ovals. Obviously, to everyone, this is our unofficial results, of course, but nonetheless, congrats to Snowstorm for the win. And everyone else who participated tonight. It was certainly a fun watch, that's for sure, coming down to the wire at the very end. As what a kickoff to season 1 of the Stock Series here in the Sportsman division. Be sure to join us tomorrow night for the Challenger division race here, repeating at Daytona with those guys, and then Thursday back here once again at Daytona with the Elite Series to round out week 1 of the new season. So thank you again, Rum, for joining me in the booth.
Anytime, and congratulations, Snowstorm, on the win.
Of course, congratulations to Snowstorm, our inaugural winner here in season 1, and can say current points leader of the Sportsman division. Hopefully you get... We all love to hear that and love to see it as well. So thank you everyone for coming out, and be sure to join us next week. Until then,